Hello, it's the Friday Talkie. Whoops. What do you mean it's not Friday? Okay. Alright, I've got a couple of things I want to talk about today. One is, on my website, retrogamingcollector.com, I've got a section that it's a price guide for retro gaming consoles, handhelds, computers, that kind of thing, on eBay. Have you ever looked on eBay and you see people selling the kit that you want, but the prices are just ridiculous? I look on eBay an awful lot, and especially recently, and I've noticed this an awful lot, that the number of people who have probably been digging around in their loft or something, brought down an old computer or an old console, and these, I imagine, are people who aren't into the retro gaming scene or the retro collecting scene. They've just found this old thing and they think, wow, this is really old. They haven't been in the shops for years. That means they must be really rare, and if it's really rare it must be worth a fortune. And they're listing things like 48K Spectrums for £120. I've seen lots of this kind of thing. It doesn't matter if it's boxed, it doesn't matter if it's immaculate. A Spectrum is never ever going to be worth 120 odd pounds, because they're so common. You know, yes, they're very old, but they are really, really common. And this eBay is chock full of them, and it actually really annoys me to see these things, partly because there might be some poor fool who thinks these things are worth that much and spends it, and basically they're getting ripped off, but partly it's a waste of everybody's time. Why can't they just do a little bit of research, find out what these items are worth, and then list them? Because they're wasting their own money and time in listing it at a price that no one in their right mind is going to pay. And they're wasting our time, anyone who's looking, because you've got to wade through all this rubbish, these things at unrealistic prices, to get to the meaningful ads for items at prices that are realistic. It's like spam. You know, when your inbox is chock full of spam, it makes finding the useful email difficult. It's the same thing. Part of what I was going to talk about, and relevant to this, is there is part of my website that is a price guide. The kind of realistic prices you could expect and should expect to see items sell for on eBay, and I mean retro gaming items, and just the hardware, not the software. I spent quite an amount of time. I've been updating it recently, which is why I come to be talking about it, because you do have to keep up to date, because the prices do fluctuate. Some things that were worth a lot now aren't, and some that weren't now are. So I try and keep up to date. But I have this price guide. I'll just swivel the camera around and hope. So yeah, you get on the site and there's a link down. There's my pointer. Price guide on the left there, and it brings you up to, it's in different sections. You've got numbers through to B, then C to M, N to R, S to Z, with spacings. I know it was just down to how many machines, systems, whatever there were in each section. And yes, you get your system, and like A3000s, £90 plus, A3010s, 30s are 65. It gives a rough indication of what you could expect an item like that to sell for, and this would be like working with all the parts that you need, power supply, whatever. It might not necessarily be boxed, but it does work. You know, prices vary depending on what's included, but everything I refer to, it's always something that works, because you can get stuff on eBay that's listed as not working and it will sell dirt cheap, but to me that doesn't count. If it doesn't work, you know, I'm not going to refer to it. A lot of these I've got links through to where, like the NES, SNES, blah blah, if you've got a link on it, it links through to the page on my website where I have one of these, and you can find information about it. You can also find links to buy them from eBay. It's just a customized search, and obviously you've got all your advertising down the right there as well. Do feel free to buy stuff from there. It helps me an amount, shall we say. Not a huge amount, but Every little helps, as they say on the Tesco adverts. So yes, that's that. I would love it if the people who sold stuff on eBay would actually look at that and take note and think, yeah, that's a reasonable price to start. In fact, it's not a reasonable price to start at, it's a reasonable price to end at. And this is the thing a lot of people do on eBay as well, and I've been watching it. People have this tendency to, they look and see what is the going rate for a system, what say a Spectrum sells for, where it closes, and then they set that as their start price. No, don't do that. It might be a realistic ending price, but it's not a realistic starting price. Now, it's just a waste of everyone's time. I have watched those. No one bids on them. Doesn't matter if the price is realistic. No one buys them. It's just the way it works on there. And, you know, I'm not having a go at anyone saying, oh, it's not a case of, it's just the people who do it aren't helping themselves. And, you know, what I need to do actually is do a dedicated video for my website to put in the seller's recommendation section, I think, seller's advice section, because they're shooting themselves in the foot, really. Okay, moving on. Yes, there is this sort of debate among collectors about it's not should you, there are those who collect to play with the systems and those who collect because they're an investment. There are also those who collect for historic purposes, like it's a museum or their own private museum and they're going to pass it on to their children and their children's children, and it be a historic document or something like that. And I read something a while ago that I keep mulling around in my head because it kind of bugs me. This article I read, it was in New Scientist, and it was about plastic and how it actually degrades. That they say, you know, plastic is non-biodegradable, you get plastic litter, it's there forever. It's not. I can tell you it's not. Have you got any computers or consoles that are yellowing? This is what I'm talking about. That system, if it's yellowing, it's what, maybe 20 years old, maybe only 15 years old. What that is, it's not like it hasn't been in the room of a smoker and it's covered in nicotine tar or whatever. It's the plastic degrading, the polymers are breaking down and it's releasing chemicals that are part of the plastic but that act as a solvent on the plastic and eat it. Basically your nice console is rotting, and it kind of makes me think, if these consoles, if plastic casings and whatever are degrading that quickly, you know, 20 years down the line, they aren't really going to be a great investment in terms of historic items to be marvelled at in 100 years from now, because they're going to crumble to dust. Different plastics degrade at a different speed, and even different different models of systems or whatever, like, oh, I don't know. You'll see some NESs or SNESs that are absolutely immaculate, and then you'll see another one where it's completely rotting, you know, really nasty yellow. And I don't know why some go quicker than others. Now the thing is, it is possible to slow down or prevent this process, but it means chemical treatments, and museums definitely will be able to do that kind of thing, but how many of us have those kind of facilities available to us? And it's oxygen that's doing it. You'd think it's... My first thought when I saw plastic starting to go off was it's light. Keep them out of the light and they'll be fine. But it's not, it's oxygen, which doesn't leave you with too many options. I mean, have you got a whopping great big vacuum cylinder thing you can put one in? Probably not. Can you put it in a container that's filled with nitrogen? Probably not. I don't have those kind of facilities, and if you did have that, well, you'd never be able to play it. I think if you're just a normal run-of-the-mill kind of collector like me, these things are not an investment in the future or in the history of gaming and such like, because they are going to disintegrate. I like to think that when I die, and I would like to think that won't be for a long time yet, I will leave these game systems to my niece. But I have to be realistic. By then they might actually just be a crumbling mess, or a pile of sticky, goopy blobs, you know, because the plastic will rot. Some systems will be fine. MTX 512, metal case, Commodore PET, metal case, but you know, the plastics, they rot. This is why I think it's good to play the things, and better yet, play the things and make videos of them and hope that the videos survive. I mean, I wonder about electronic data storage and how viable that is in the long term. Certainly worth having multiple copies on multiple systems spread around all over the place, and hope YouTube survives, and you know what I mean. But in terms of all this stuff surviving into the future, I worry about it. I think all this stuff might be lost to history. Okay, moving on. It's kind of shout out time, yeah. Okay, now, this is not actually a shout out for a person exactly. Now, I know this person as Christopher, but they appear to have a couple of channels, because another one is Revolution Action DK. Now, it's not his channel that I'm shouting out. It is his website, because he has just put together retrogamersunited.com, and it's a really cool idea. As a lot of you will know, I've put together a website, or a section on my website that is for you know, it's a listing of all the people I could find on YouTube, just to try and bring people together, help people find other channels and such like. What Christopher here has done is put together a website where YouTubers can come together and embed their videos. So you're not having to hunt around through channels and channels and channels. You can find them all together in one place. And I think that's a really cool idea. I have to confess, I haven't spent a lot of time investigating the various different aspects of this channel, but I know that there is good stuff. I've uploaded one of my videos already. It's my collection video. You've got, what have we got? There's a forum, there are groups. I don't know what Wire is. I haven't investigated nearly enough. There's a chat room as well. There are, who we got here? Well, there's me, obviously. Follow XXIV. I don't know what those letters are in Roman numerals, but yeah, you've got Gamester81, Martin. That's bad. I don't know who that is. There are a few people I don't know, but I mean, there are some who really, I think most of you will know. There's Rob Maximum RD, there's Mark Bahir, there's Huey999, Retro Gamer VX, that's Christopher, that's Jean-Luc Picard, Popstar. Yeah, I think this I'm going to say channel, website really does have the potential to be very cool. It's got some great features. It's very well put together. I mean, I do a bit of web design, as you know, but this is using technologies that I know nothing about. I don't know what he's used to do it, but it's very cool. But just the latest videos here, the ability to put up your videos and have a load of people come together, it's kind of like groups on YouTube, but it's got more features, more facilities. You've got your own profile page, customizable and whatnot, and all sorts of cool stuff. I think it's a great idea, and I do recommend checking it out. It's got a lot of potential. Just to me, to my mind, anything that brings the retro gaming community together is a great thing and worth investigating. So I'll add a link below the video. It's retrogamersunited.com. Okay, as you'll probably be aware, I have been very busy lately and not getting things done when I wanted to get them done, like this video, like the live chat. There is no live chat this weekend. I had hoped maybe I could cram one in, but by the time I'm done with everything I've got to do today, it's going to be quite late, and realistically not many people are going to be up for staying up very late on a Sunday night because they've got work tomorrow. There will be chat next week, next Saturday. I'm going to try very hard to make that happen. Things have just been a little bit chaotic here and not entirely within my control, so stuff has not been done. Yes, I think I'm done. Preparation for this video has been piss poor. Right, thank you for watching.